Okay, if they're proven true, it could subject you to a maximum penalty of up to 15 years in prison based on your original conviction. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Austin. You also have the right to have a contested hearing where you could appear by yourself or through an attorney. You could hear the evidence presented against you. You could cross-examine witnesses and you could present your own evidence. And Mr. Austin, how are we proceeding on this?
Your Honor, it's my understanding after speaking with Mr. Minix that he will be admitting to the violations.
Is that right, Mr. Minix?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Minix, as I said, you have the right to a contested hearing. If you plead guilty, you won't have a contested hearing, and you'll give up the rights that go along with it. That includes the right to have the allegations proven, the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the hearing and to be able to cross-examine them, the right to have this court order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the hearing, and also the right to testify at the hearing yourself if you wanted to. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone made any promises to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone used any threats or other kinds of pressure?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you believe you are in violation of probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then tell me what you did that would make you in violation. You didn't do some of these things you were required. Tell me about that.
No, I relapsed. I relapsed. I was sober for just over a year, and I relapsed into methamphetamines. And really, I think getting into a rehab will help me tremendously to get back on the right track, because I was on the right track for a year there. I had a good support system with my mom, her boyfriend, my girlfriend at the time. And I fell back into a group of the wrong people, and
Okay.
Really,
So when you relapsed, then you stopped doing things like submitting to drops at recovery pathways. Is that correct?
I wasn't even doing drops for the whole year that I was out, and then I was told that I was supposed to get a hold of recovery pathways. I did try to get a hold of them at one point in time. They didn't give me a color, and I tried to get in touch with my agent Ralph, and things just fell off for me after.
Okay, so in the end, you never did get over to outpatient treatment at recovery pathways. Is that right?
No, I did not, ma'am. But I am I'm not opposed to it whatsoever.
I understand. I just have to go through it. And then you also failed to contact your agent on those 2 dates, February 2nd and 3rd. Is that right?
Yes, and I was on that, I was actually having trouble with a cell phone issue. I had a cell phone that was stolen from me, and then I have another one now in my possession that is under my mother's contract now. So.
Okay. The court finds the plea is understandingly, voluntarily, and knowingly made. It is supported by the testimony. The plea of guilty is accepted. Mr. Minix is found guilty of probation violation. And Agent Forrest, is there a recommendation?
Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. Minix's mother, and she was very concerned about his recent methamphetamine use and asked that he do participate in some form of treatment. Originally, I had intended to ask the court for residential treatment. However, after speaking with Mr. Austin and looking into things further, I had forgot that he has a pending case in Oakland County, and I'm not sure if he will be able to participate in residential treatment given that he has upcoming court cases. Therefore, I would just ask the court to continue him on probation and enroll in an outpatient treatment and set up regular drug testing to monitor that in the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And can you tell me how many days he's been in on the bench warrant?
He has 13 days right now, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Austin?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I find the recommendation to be appropriate. I'm going to ask the court to adopt it. As Mr. Minnick said, he was on the right track there and kind of fell off a little bit, but he seems really motivated now to get right back on track and start heading forward again. He's got a strong support system with his mother, his grandmother, his girlfriend. His mother's boyfriend is getting some work lined up for him so he can do some productive things once he's released. And I think he would benefit from the outpatient treatment, which I think he needs to do and that he wants to do, and his family is going to be there supporting him. I would just ask the court to adopt and follow the recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, and then Mr. Minix, anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. I really prefer to send you to inpatient or residential, but as you heard, that when you have a pending charge, that does not work together with residential and a pending charge. So I'm going to follow. I'm sorry?
What is the outpatient versus the residential, or what was the difference in what is that?
I mean, outpatient, you're going to be back living in the community, and
Okay.
but going to treatment on an outpatient basis. So checking in
Okay.
as you're needed to, as you're required to do, and doing drops and everything that goes along with outpatient treatment, as opposed to being in a place where you're in a bed at that location and you're not leaving. So
Okay, yes.
there's a lot of trust put in you to be in outpatient treatment. But we're hoping that you'll prove yourself worthy of that. So I will continue you on probation, and all the terms and conditions of probation will continue to apply. And we will add in there, if it isn't already, outpatient treatment, comply with everything you're required to do. That means no excuses, Mr. Minix, about
Yes, ma'am.
cell phones or anything else. You're given the chance to have outpatient treatment. Do everything that you're supposed to do, including substance abuse testing that goes along with it. And on this violation, 13 days in jail with credit for 13 days served. The bench warrant is dismissed. And Mr. Minix, you're welcome. You have the right to file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and your sentence in this matter. You're entitled to an attorney at public expense to assist you in doing that. If you're making a request for one, you have to make it within 42 days of today's date. There is a form that tells more about that. We will send it to you. But you should just know that if you want to appeal, the time starts running now from today, and it's 42 days. Okay. Do you have any questions?
The address that you guys have on file, can I just make sure is correct with,
Sure.
it's gonna be 1315 West Oliver,
West what?
West Oliver Street,
Oh, Oliver. Okay. And that's in Lansing?
Owasso.
Owasso. Oh, okay. Agent Forrest, you got that?
I do have that, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Very
I
good.
just wanted to-
Thanks, Mr. Minix.
Thank you.
Good
We all
luck.
set?
Yep, you can tell them at the jail you're all set.
Okay, thank you. Ryan?
Okay, Mr. Carroll.
Good
is
afternoon, Your Honor.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good.
Good. I've got two people in the waiting room. One is called iPhone and the other is called Mirette. Do you have any idea which one your client might be?
Carter, are you iPhone? Is that how yours is listed? Yep, he's iPhone.
Okay. I like to know before I let just anybody in. Okay, looks like we're all set. Mr. Wilbur, you can hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this is People of the State of Michigan versus Carter Wilbur, docket number 20-908FH. This is the time set for sentencing, and Mr. Wilbur, can you just confirm for me that you are in agreement with doing this sentencing remotely instead of coming down to the courthouse?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You were convicted of 4th degree fleeing and eluding. That is a felony punishable by up to 2 years in prison. You have the right to an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Carroll. And Mr. Carroll, have you had a chance to review the pre-sentence report with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Do you have any additions, deletions, or corrections?
The only whether it would be a correction or not, Judge, under paragraph 19, it referenced a license suspension. And it's my understanding, and I talked with Luke about this, the license suspension would not take effect unless he was either not given HYTA or is not successful on the HYTA status.
Right. I got that covered.
And that's the only difference.
Okay, and no objection to the scoring of the guidelines?
I have no objection to the scoring.
Okay, Ms. Allen, did the people have any corrections to the report or objections to scoring?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Did the people wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Carroll.
Judge, I just believe that the recommendation is appropriate. I would ask the court to follow it. I have known Carter through his cheating years. I had the pleasure of coaching him in hockey. I was aware of the injury that he suffered thereafter in hockey. And actually on the team that my daughter was playing with boys still at that age. And I think the situation he described very well. I think he panicked. If he'd have thought it's over, the worst that he would have gotten was probably careless driving in the situation. And unfortunately, he gets into this situation. So I'm in belief he'll be successful with the HTA. And I'd ask the court to follow that recommendation.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wilbur, was there anything you wanted to say?
Just thank you for your time, and I'm sorry that you had to deal with this, and I'll make sure you never have to see me again, Your Honor.
Okay, well, that's the best thing you can say to me because, I mean, maybe I'll see you in Meyer or something. That's fine, but I don't want to see you in this way again because I'll tell you, I realize you're young and, you know, there's a level of immaturity here at 18 even. But this is some really serious conduct, Mr. Wilbur. It really is. And I mean, you know, for a first offense, you really did it up because not only did you have a passenger in the car with you, a 17-year-old passenger, but going on a chase with the police at speeds of 118 miles an hour, that's just incredibly reckless, beyond reckless. You endangered so many people's lives. And, you know, I mean, I do realize there is that element of immaturity, but this is bad decision making to the highest degree. You know, we have to make sure that nothing like this ever presents itself again. And the thing is that you have so many positives. I mean, I know your life hasn't been perfect. You know, I read the whole history and, you know, your father's certainly a disappointment, but other than that, your mom's great. Her fiance's great, it sounds like. Everything's great. You have a fantastic job. So, you know, I would suggest that next time, one, you think about the consequences of your decisions, and I'm going to give you some programming that'll hopefully help you do that. But two, you know, be grateful for what you have and humble about it. You know, I read the letters in support of you, and your employer made a comment that you didn't jump on the unemployment bandwagon. I'm not aware there's an unemployment bandwagon. I think there's a lot of people who've been devastated by unemployment. And I would suggest that to help with your maturity going forward, you practice gratitude and, you know, recognize that you're at where you're at with a great job and great mom and everything, because you worked for some of it, no doubt, but you're also just fortunate. You're just fortunate that you have all these good things going for you. And you should never risk those things or throw them away or take them for granted. And that's what you did with this horrible, horrible act of fleeing from the police at such high speeds. So, you know, come down to earth a little bit and recognize that you're very fortunate to have things that other people don't have, and that you should never take that for granted or risk it in any way. I'm going to grant your petition for treatment under the Homes Youthful Training Act and place you on probation for a period of 12 months, 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days served. You have to pay $130 to the Crime Victims Fund, $68 in state costs, oversight fees in the amount of $360 payable at the rate of $30 a month, costs in the amount of $500 based on the State Court Administrative Office calculated average cost of a criminal case in Ingham County. Additional conditions of probation are: you may not use or possess alcoholic beverages or controlled substances. You may not use marijuana recreationally or use medical marijuana contrary to the requirements of the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. You must comply with both drug and alcohol testing as your agent directs. You must not engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. No contact with anyone you know to have a felony record. You may not possess a weapon while you're on probation. You must comply with the written and verbal orders of your agent. Let the agent into your home at any time. Submit to a search of your person or property without need of a warrant. Report any changes to your agent within 24 hours. And make genuine efforts to find, or in your case, certainly maintain employment a minimum of 30 hours per week. And you must complete a cognitive behavior therapy program. That's what I was alluding to before, Mr. Wilbur. It's programming that really everyone can use, everyone can benefit from, and it helps you take a look at how you make decisions and how the decisions you make and the way you think can change how you act and how to make better decisions in the future. I'll also approve transfer of your supervision to Lenawee County. Mr. Wilbur, you have the right to file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and your sentence in this matter. You're entitled to an attorney at public expense to assist you in doing that. If you're making a request for one, you have to make it within 42 days of today's date. It will explain that more on a form that we'll send to you. And it will, you should just be aware that the time period for starting an appeal starts running from today. It tells more about it on the form, but it starts running from today, and you are all set unless you have any questions. Do you have any questions?